What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Wired Sound Podcast. Today we have a guest hailing from Vegas. We have Lucky Lou. How you been, man?
Everything's great, and it's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Finally, nice to meet you. Heard a lot of great things, and really like what you and Crespo do.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
We admire it.
I love to hear that. Yeah, so you just had a little first show in South Florida. Was that your first show ever playing last night in South Florida?
No, I played South Florida before, but first time playing in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And it was a good vibe.
Yeah.
It was a really good vibe. It's a blessing to be able to play these type of venues.
I love it. So tell people a little bit about yourself. I know you've been on tour with Little John. You have a Vegas residency, right? Can you tell people a little bit about like what you've been doing?
Yeah, sure. Been in the game for quite a while now. Started off as a dance DJ, eventually turned into an open format DJ,
right.
Being in Las Vegas. I've been on tour with LMFAO. I've had the honor to work with the Black Eyed Peas. And now I'm with Little John, touring with him. And it's been a great run. And also playing a lot of residencies in Las Vegas as well.
Okay. Yeah, the Vegas residencies, that I think is like the top level for a DJ. So like, are you feeling that when you're playing those rooms? Or like, can you tell people a little bit about what that's like playing in Vegas?
Sure. I think music-wise, you hit a point. It is a top level, as in you have to be able to be versatile and be able to be anything. Like some nights I have to be David Guetta or Alesso, and some nights I have to be DJ Khaled. And it just depends on the format and being able to read the crowd. But also I think the major thing of being on a Vegas level is understanding business, because Vegas is all about making money and making sales. So it's like you could be a good, solid DJ and you could be a great artist, but at the same time, you have to be able to translate and be able to move the meter as in selling alcohol.
Yeah.
And not only that, keeping girls happy and dancing, but, sales is everything in Las Vegas, and you got to be able to cater to not only the dance crew, the dance floor, but also cater to all the VIP spenders as well.
Yeah. Like, do you ever do like a sales review after the week? Like, after your shows, does the caller be like, hey, we noticed at 12 a.m. we saw like a spike in bottle service sales? And I'm just curious.
As the DJ, you'll never get a sales review or the accolades of doing well. But the talent buyer will call you when you don't do well. Yeah. And they'll let you know. So
yeah, I do. I ask sometimes. I'm like, yo, how'd you guys do tonight? Because I know if you're an aspiring DJ out there, like what you said, you want to make sure the club's making money, because that's how you'll get brought back as a DJ.
There's a saying in Vegas, when the talent team doesn't call you and have a review, you're doing a good job. Okay. The less you hear from them, the better. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you partying during your sets? Do you drink a lot? Are you like?
I'm newly single, so I've been drinking a lot lately. Still on my fitness, but that's always a balancing act.
Yeah.
Lucky Lou, the persona has to come out. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You feel like you're playing better when you have a few drinks, or do you feel like you're better?
I feel like I'm at least to be able to be on the same level as the crowd.
Yeah.
So, as a DJ, not only are you playing music, but you got to be able to feel it.
Yeah.
Do you drink often when you DJ?
I'd say I usually cap myself at 3, 4, 5. It depends on the night. No, it really depends on the city and how comfortable I am with the room. Like if it's a room that I've played before and I know the crowd, it's kind of like clockwork. Yeah. I feel more comfortable having 2 or 3 drinks.
Yeah.
If it's a room that I'm like headlining, I've never played before, and I want to make sure it's just like I'm on my shit a little bit. Yeah, I know like, when you drink, sometimes you just become more of the party. But
sure.
If I'm a little bit more in my head, and maybe I'll stick to like 1, 2 drinks and cap myself there and just make sure.
That's interesting that you said that. It's true. When I'm playing a new venue, you saying that you're in your own head. Mm-hmm. I'll be in I think a lot of DJs and artists, including myself, we are in our own head as well, because we want to make sure that we execute and do a good job. Because everyone thinks that what we do is just drinking and having fun. Sure, that's a part of it. But at the same time, our job is to execute and be able to make sure the venue is happy with our music. Yeah. And it's not just playing for us. We have to play in order to make the crowd happy as well. Yeah,
that's the goal at the end of the night, is make sure that everyone there is happy. And if you're a headliner, it's a little bit different, right? Because then hopefully people are showing up to see you perform, and then you can have a little bit more fun with it. But if you're booked as more of like a club DJ, where like maybe the people coming through the door don't necessarily know you, then that's the gig that you want to make sure to stay a bit sober on the front end of it, and then towards the end when you know you're killing it, then have a few drinks.
100%. And like you said, when you're the club DJ, you have to create the experience for them. You know, you have to create the experience, you have to create the sales, and you got to make sure the staff is happy.
Yeah,
it's a whole other ballpark, and being not as sober as you can could backfire on you. And
so
it's happened before.
So switching gears, like being on tour with Lil Jon, are you guys having a crazy? I mean, that's got to be.
The irony of it is with Jon. Jon's a very private and quiet person.
Okay.
And people don't understand. He's like a true artist. It's like he's sober, so he doesn't drink. He still has the party persona. He's into like weightlifting now and the entire health space and meditation, and he believes in like good energy and like stones. It's funny when we travel and we go on tour. When you go through TSA, he has this heavy bag, and every time they open it up, it's just a bunch of energy stones.
Yeah.
and the agent, security agent's like, "What is all this?" He's like, "It's my stones." He's like, "Hurry up and look through it. I gotta go." And people don't understand. He's all about that good energy and karma, and it's just a pleasure to work with him. So, but we don't really drink as often. He doesn't drink at all. But when I'm with him, it's mostly just good energy and staying healthy and working out.
It's crazy. I see that in a lot of, because I play with some big artists at like Dare here, or artists that have been very successful. For example, I just played with Pauly D the other day, and I was talking to his artist. What's the term? Tour manager.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm just spacing.
What's his name again?
DJ Nine.
Nine is a great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. Him, but he was like, Pauly never drinks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I'm like, that's fucking wild. Like they have this party persona,
right?
And so like obviously, I guess the perception to the general public is like they're partying, they're drinking all the time. But he's like, no, he's very like what you said, health oriented.
Yeah.
Like maybe we'll take a drink like once a year for his birthday or something. But aside from that, he's like completely
he looks
sober.
amazing. Pauly D is like, he's that dude. And if you guys don't know, he can actually DJ.
Yeah, no, he's a sick
I've actually
set.
Opened up. I have the honor to open up for him a few times out in Vegas, and he got some talent, and girls love him.
Yeah,
he brings out bitches.
I think in the dance music world, like we get a little bit like there's just so many egos, and people are like, oh, like I'm the fucking biggest DJ, but then you like go to a Pauly D show, and it's like sold the fuck out, you know, and you forget that the general public probably doesn't know most of the like big dance artists that we think are like the biggest dance artists of today.
Right.
But that's just a separate thing. But I just noticed that. I was like, I played Dare a few times, and that was one of the craziest crowds I've ever seen.
It's like, and going back to what you said, the health space, I just think like a lot of these artists too, it's every day, it's like you're doing the same damn thing. It's like drinking and being hungover and trying to recover from that. And just years of that, you're probably just tired of it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully we get to that space.
How long you been DJing for?
I mean, I'm 48 now, and I've been DJing since I was 13.
Yeah.
And I grew up under the tutelage of the Beat Junkies, which is DJ Icy Ice.
Okay.
One of the best DJs out in the West Coast. He's still DJing now, and really learned the right way of DJing.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm really proud of. So.
Yeah. Do you miss the crate digging days when it was like vinyl and shit like
that? I
that?
don't miss the crate digging days. But
it's coming back a little bit. I see clubs popping up that are like all vinyl clubs.
Really?
There's one in Miami. I got to think of the name, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, where it's like an all vinyl set, you know.
I mean, I would love to, you know, I'm a fan and I respect vinyl. I still have vinyl, and I'll come watch it, but you know, I personally don't want to get hired for anything like that. Because I'd be
bring all your crates.
It's not about being lazy. It's just I'd be like on edge all the time. Like, what if this skips?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like this record pops.
Yeah, it's
and
stressful as
those are
shit.
things that we would have to go through back in the day.
I know. We don't. There's so many things that you don't have to deal with now.
Grounding wires on turntables.
Like I wasn't brought up in the vinyl day. I was in the CD era, so I had my CD books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like where I was at. So it was like when CDJs were becoming a thing.
Yeah.
CDJs, in case you didn't know.
CDs.
Yeah. That's where it came from.
You guys didn't know.
We used to have the CD insert.
We used to all DJ
back in my day. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so that's cool though. So all right, so you're on tour with Lil Jon. How often are you playing those shows?
John plays a lot of a lot of his own shows. So if he's doing an individual DJ set, I don't have to be there. But I'll rotate with him and his son, and we have another guy as well for like the stadium shows.
Okay.
And I'm pretty busy myself, fortunately, in my
Yeah,
own
of course,
career,
yeah.
so I'm not going to be able to do all of them. But we do a lot of shows together often, so maybe like once every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where I can help them out.
That's good, man. Yeah, it's good to be like consistent. What I was talking with Nine, who's the Pauly D's tour manager, but he was saying that he plays for the Philly Eagles, which is a cool thing. But yeah,
That is cool.
But consistent, it's hard to be like, yeah, when you get that kind of consistency as a DJ, it's a blessing.
It is.
Because you have that, and then you build your other gigs around it. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
it's establishing those residencies are pretty much the toughest part.
Yeah.
But you, like you said, if you land a few, and then every month you could add a little bit to it,
Yeah.
it's a good thing, you know. And you got to make the best out of what you got.
So music-wise, are you releasing any tunes, or are you working
I
on
have I have like 12 songs that I'm finishing that I'm mastering.
What sound?
It's mostly pop music, and,
Okay.
and that's kind of my phase right now, and a few tech house songs.
Yeah.
But that's my love. I love dance music.
Yeah, man. You gotta get John on a feature. Probably
Yeah, I
costs
mean-
a lot of money. But
Yeah, I mean, getting John a feature wouldn't be a problem. It just
Yeah.
has to be the right look and the right song. But he's always down. He's my
yeah,
brother.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and I would never just pull the favor just to pull the
Yeah,
favor.
yeah. You want to make sure it's the right fit.
We want to make sure that it's the right song. I'd probably run the song through you.
Yeah, make sure. it
see,
sounds-
see your thoughts on it.
I got
as
you.
well.
Yeah, I had me and Crespo a while back. Crespo is one of the other founders of the DJ Academy. We got Fat Man Scoop on a feature.
Oh,
rest in
rest in
peace.
peace.
Yeah, fucking legend.
That
though.
is crazy.
And he's still in my intro for my DJ sets. It's like Landis. I have Fat Man Scoop.
And he's
saying
such a
it.
nice guy.
Yeah, that was a bummer. That
yeah,
he's
it's
such a like someone like that. You don't really realize how much of an impact they made in like the dance music
Yeah,
world.
you take it. I just think in general, as human beings, we take certain things for granted. But when you meet legends like that, he's not only a legend because of him being an act. It's just the type of kind person he was.
Yeah.
And the way he could transcend, any type of party and just lift it up in any genre.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never actually met him in person, which is a bummer. It was all virtual
Oh, really?
sessions and everything like that.
He's cool. He's he's like very personable person.
Yeah.
I don't know him really, really well, but all the interactions I've been blessed to have with him was really well.
Well, yeah. So I'm sure you're partying with some big people in Vegas sometimes and stuff like that. Any crazy Vegas stories of like someone that rolled up to your set that you're like, oh shit,
I mean,
that
there's
was
always
wild.
crazy Vegas stories, but it's mostly about the crowd. As in, when it comes to partying, we mostly just DJ and just go home at the end of the day because they're just such long shifts. Sometimes you have if you're fortunate to DJ in Vegas, we have day club shifts and then it goes automatically into the night.
Yeah.
It's like we were speaking about earlier. It's an entire business, so you have to really keep yourself healthy and be able to be disciplined. Like I can't get wasted at the day club because I still have to DJ at the night club at the same time.
yourself.
So
What was the longest set or like longest day DJing in Vegas that you had? Like,
I think I've had
playing time.
over 14-hour sets before because Vegas never shuts down. We shut down when the last customer leaves, so and that sometimes in our clubs, especially like Omnia nightclub, they're not leaving till like 7 a.m.
Yeah, that makes a space set look like amateur hour. Fucking, they're 5 hours.
It's a different vibe. I mean, Miami's a whole different vibe too. It never shuts here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The party in space is crazy. I've been a few times, but I gotta go again soon. I think like what I realized when I was on support for Pauly the other day, it's a lot harder to play those sets when it's like a crowd that I can't explain. They weren't really like doing their own thing. They were just kind of staring at me for like 3-4 hours, and that's like fucking way harder because you have to kind of play like that headliner, even though you're not the headliner.
Right.
The really fine balance.
Yeah.
Or else people are getting bored,
It's funny when that you said that because when I left, I was originally signed at and DJing at the Wynn, an Encore Beach Club, and when I was over there, we had to play it very safe. But now that I've transferred over and I'm DJing at Tao Group and the other clubs, you almost have to be borderline, almost close to burning the headliner.
Yeah.
Which is like
It's a really
complete
fine line.
no to me, especially the way I grew up.
Yeah.
So I have to like be very conscious of certain things. So.
Yeah, to not overstep.
Yeah,
but they
because-
want that, you're saying, to a certain extent, or they've said
You
like,
have to keep the crowd going. Like certain venues have different philosophies, and I had to learn that. I guess, the hard way, coming from another group to another prominent group. People have different philosophies on how they want that room ran.
Yeah.
And I would say if anyone's getting to the space, if you're fortunate enough to DJ for a conglomerate or a group, I would go the night before to see what the culture is of the actual nightclub is.
Yeah.
So you could kind of learn, get to know
what
the
the vibe
DJs
is.
there. Yeah. And then also ask a lot of questions. How would you like me to play this room? Because I came in some of these rooms playing very safe, and they were just they thought I was the worst DJ ever.
Yeah, they were like,
but
yo,
I was
where's the
being
energy?
respectful to the act.
Yeah, I always hit up other DJ buddies that I've seen play the room a few times, and I'm like, hey, how do you play this? Do you know?
Right.
Are you usually playing peak hour stuff at what? Like, I always ask what peak hour is. Like, when's like most, when I'm headlining. But
do you
also,
feel now, because you guys are in a different generation, and it's odd saying this because I feel like I've been living this 27-year-old life forever, that you guys are more open to communication? Because back then it was like a lot of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's changed a lot since there are a lot of DJs now.
Okay.
But there's only so many that are actually doing the thing.
Right.
It's become a bit more of a community, I think.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason we built the academy here is like, in South Florida, it was a very like every man for himself kind of philosophy.
Right.
And we're like, why don't
Has
we
that
like
changed?
I mean, yes, everyone is still out to get their own gigs and everything like that, but there definitely is more of a communal factor where it's like, there's the gig swapping kind of stuff like that, where it's like helping each other out that you're friends with, and that's I think that's become a new norm for DJs is like how let's help each other out and let's grow up together.
That's awesome.
So I'm noticing that for sure, and you see these crews of DJs. So I feel super comfortable like asking a buddy, I'm like, how'd you play this room? Or even like, what was your rate here? Like, what's the right thing? Because what's the worst that happened?
I think the more we help each other, the better for the entire community.
Yeah.
Because also, when like people understand, we are a very small community, and like talking about rates, talking about how to play a room, and also things that we even spoke about, taxes and like medical insurance and how to tackle these type of things, the better it is for our craft and our community.
Yeah.
And I'm not a hater. When I see someone like Crespo make 20 grand or something a show, that's great because that's good for all of us.
Yeah.
Let's keep it on that level.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Let's
the
not
more money,
undercut each other.
Yeah, the more
that
that DJs make, the better it is. You
Yeah.
know? Because you know how it is. If certain corporate companies could get away with, giving you $1,
Yeah.
and
They
then
would. See,
DJs accept it, it's not good.
But the thing with that, and this is what I realized with DJs, is the clubs could do that, but at the end of the day, like what we were talking about before, they care about their bottom line, right? So if it's a bad DJ, it's such a pinnacle point of the venue that they will lose money.
Yes.
So they don't take risks that often on new DJs.
Okay.
But also, you're not going to get your rate cut unless they know the next person coming in that's going to take half the money you're taking is going to do just as good at a job.
Right.
But that's unlikely. Like, you get a certain level of respect in the DJ world because clubs know you can consistently fill the room and make sure it stays crowded,
and be versatile.
which is a skill in itself, and play the room and do all the right things.
Right.
So that's what I realized. There are new DJs popping up all the times, but there's only so many that can play the rooms the right way, where the venue continues to make money and they know it's going to be a good night if they have you.
Right. And that's all reading the crowd.
Yeah, reading the room, which you can't really. You can learn it to an extent, but at the end of the day, it's an experience thing.
That's true.
It takes years to kind of like.
How long did you think it took you? Because you came from a production background. How long did it take you to actually like? I could actually read a room now. And get comfortable with that.
I'm really bummed at how I approach things, and I wish for up and coming producers they don't do this. Like, I was very like, I have to play like my originals and my sound for a bit for like the first 2 or 3 years of me DJing. And I noticed venues weren't bringing me back and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, like what's going on here? I thought I played a good set, but maybe
That's pretty humbling.
So
because your production's really great.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But I had a bit of like even if I'm even if the energy's decent, they're looking for a certain level of filling the tables and making sure everyone's staying there for a certain amount of time.
The business of DJing.
And so you have to take yourself out of that ego a little bit and be like, okay, what does the venue care about? They care about sales.
Yes.
So how do I make sure that they obtain those sales?
Right.
You play the room. And so that's where I came from.
That's great.
So I'd say probably 5-6 years of playing it more that way. It was like post-COVID.
That's a great learning curve.
I reshifted. Yeah, it was an interesting thing for me because
Post-COVID.
Yeah. Or like
You guys were still busy here
2020.
during COVID. Here, right?
Florida there was still stuff going on. I played a few things, but it was weird. I had masks in the club and stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
That's so crazy. It feels so long ago, but not so long
Yeah.
ago. It's just an odd like situation.
Yeah, it was like, but I'd say I started really touring consistently as like club DJ probably 2022.
Do you think and I have no doubt your career is gonna get to all the levels that you wanted to. Do you think you'll stop club DJing when you as an
No,
artist?
because I think
Or
that
you still enjoy it.
yeah, I know I was saying to you before, like I wanted my goal is festivals and shit like that. But the club shows, there's a different kind of set you can play that you can have fun with. So I think I always have a love for the club sets.
Yeah,
and yeah,
I totally get it. It's just seeing people happy and watching them smile.
And you can experiment a bit more with the set, like get a little bit more open format.
That's true.
Whereas if I'm playing a headlining set at a festival, I'm probably going to stick more to like what I was saying before, like the progressive house or like whatever sound I'm kind of making, because I want to make sure fans that are showing up for me as an artist see that side.
That's true.
But a club set.
How are you dealing with the phone request situation?
Oh my God.
The Bad Bunny
I
thing.
just pretend to not see them now. I mean, that is one strategy, right? There's a few ways to get around it. I mean, I made a song called No Requests.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Okay.
usually my
I gotta look that up.
go-to. It says can you please play Bad Bunny? It's like in the song. It's like,
Right.
And so they usually get the hint if I play that.
You know what's funny? Some DJs have an aura. They never get those annoying situations like DJ Vice and also like Crespo.
They don't.
I never see people like requesting songs.
Here's what I
like,
realized. If you play the request, it just opens a floodgate of requests.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
It's
that's
a
why I
slippery
just
slope.
don't do it.
Yeah,
because they're just like
it's the first one yet.
Respectfully, I know people want to have a good time. We're here to create a good time for you, but a lot of people, especially after drinking, they'll keep coming to the booth. See, I told you that worked. Now play this. Now play that. And it's just like,
and then you just feel like
we're just Spotify.
Yeah. I usually just kind of brush it off, and eventually they put the phone down. But sometimes they get aggressive with it.
Oh, I've seen a lot of people really upset at me.
Lose their shit.
I've seen a girl hold her phone up to me for like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
During a whole
like,
DJ
what
set.
other job does someone come in and do that? Like,
I don't know. We don't go to the doctor's office.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Give me a tetanus shot.
Also, give me this.
Yeah.
check my
But
blood.
yeah,
work.
there is no other job that I could think of that people are like demanding you switch your job to do what they want you to do.
Do you think there's like a loss of respect for DJs?
A little
in the
bit.
club-
I
in the
mean,
club scene?
I just think people don't know that are going out. They just, I mean, of course, people want to have a great night and they want to hear their song.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to the room. And you, as the DJ, need to know. Like, I will play every once in a while if I feel like it fits what I'm playing and it's like the right direction.
Yeah.
Then I will play a request every once in a while.
Yeah.
The worst I had someone request my own song. And I didn't have it on my sticks.
No way.
Fuck.
Oh, are you just DJing off of sticks now?
Yeah, I'm on sticks. I've always been on sticks.
Okay. That's the only
another
disadvantage of.
Yeah, it's a disadvantage, but it's also amazing for rejecting requests.
Oh, I
'Cause
don't
you just
have
go,
it.
Oh, I got what I got on the sticks.
But it just doesn't work when it's your own song.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, that must
shitty.
have felt amazing.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like I said, I have.
Did they know
fans.
it was you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they saw it on Spotify. Yeah, if you don't know, if you're like on Spotify, you can link it with bands in town. I think.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll show like people that follow you on Spotify where you're playing
Where you're
next.
going, yeah.
So I think people have shown up from my Spotify.
That's great.
Yeah, I was in Philly maybe 2 months ago, and the guy saw the name on like the LED screen. He's like, Landis. He's like, wait, is it? And he just held up my song. He's like, is this you? This is a different one. I was like, yes. Shit.
What a great feeling.
Yeah, it's a cool one for sure.
And how long did it take you to make that song?
The one that he was holding up, it was a
What was the
weird
name of
one.
it?
Was called I Want You, and it was like kind of really curveball song for me. It was like I pretty much took a track I heard on New Music Friday, remixed it. Then I talked to the original artist. It was this guy's 49th in Maine, who they make kind of like indie rock.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, do you guys want to re-release this as another original, but in the dance music world?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, let's run it. And then that one did really well, and that was the one.
What year was this?
That was probably 2020, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, during the
but that
COVID
one
time.
grew a lot. Yeah, during COVID, or like maybe towards the end of COVID.
Yeah, I noticed you said that you experiment with like different genres of music. Are you into rock music personally?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up. I think
You look like you could be like
I grew up in the rock world a little bit for sure.
Okay. Like what
my brother was a bass guitarist.
Oh wow!
So there you go.
What were your favorite bands?
Oh my god, I was like into like screamo shit like that, like Billy Talent.
Wow.
Who else was I into? I think there's a lot of like DJs, mostly dubstep DJs. I think that's they go from like hardcore rock.
Right.
Skrillex started as a
man.
fucking.
Sonny was a big influencer. In that.
Yeah,
I mean he was in a band.
Yeah, hardcore rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was into that shit for a while, and I got a track remix of Teenage Dirtbag with Retrovision coming out.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's coming out in a couple months.
About that, right?
Yeah, because that's like just from my childhood.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I've always played around with that a little bit. You know, I'm not fully committed to like.
Does that translate in the club?
No. Yeah, definitely not.
Okay.
The Teenage Dirtbag one actually plays that really well because
Yeah.
it's one of those songs that everyone knows and sings along
Yeah.
to. But like the I Want You one, I couldn't play. Like it really just would not fit into a set unless it's like a Landis, like I'm playing an hour set of just my music.
Right.
That's the only way I could probably work it
Well,
in.
I mean, depends. What if you're into 4 shots of Don Julio?
Yeah,
Get tempted to
it
play.
might get there. I know. These longer sets. But yeah, so, but that was a cool experience. I forgot where we came from. Oh, the request stuff.
Yeah, and then also your background in rock music.
Yeah.
That's great.
What about you? Was it
Growing
dance
up,
music world, you said? Or?
I mean, I grew up with listening to Marvin Gaye and just a lot of soul music, but at the same time, I did like a lot of independent rock music. At that time, they weren't big bands like the Killers.
Yeah,
I mean, these were like
I saw
all
the
independent
Killers.
bands. Yeah, and I love all types of genres. I love No Doubt.
Yeah.
That was like an independent band before they blew up. So
Yeah, it's crazy how Mr. Brightside still works sometimes
I know,
in the
it works.
clubs. I play the Don Diablo edit,
Oh.
and it goes
Classic.
off almost
It's
every
a
time.
classic.
But yeah, it's weird how certain songs like that will translate to the club and still like.
I wonder if Don
that
Diablo
moment.
actually makes money off that song. Or is it just a promo?
It gets tricky when you do a track like that. He probably got some kind of master royalty on
Okay.
it. I don't know for sure.
Right.
I know with our deal with the Teenage Dirtbag one that we're splitting some kind of master.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say this
Well,
stuff,
that's
but
good. No, but it's good because people need to learn.
yeah. But what happens is you have the publishing side. So like in a song, there's 200%. Half is the master, half
Yeah.
is the publishing. The publishing always goes to the original artist.
Original artist, yeah.
Say in Don Diablo's situation, it probably the Killers probably got the 100% of the publishing, and then they did some kind of split on the master side.
mastering.
So
to know.
but for that, like at least for me, for the song that we're doing, I don't really care that much about royalties. Of course, it'd be great to get some money from it, but I know that just the look of doing a track with them and stuff like that is really cool.
And it's cool because you liked them as a child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, who was that? Who did I have? I had Prappa on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
A month or so ago, and he was talking about how like the tracks he's remixing were all from his childhood, just tracks he like fucked to it.
Yeah, that's when the real music artistry comes out.
Yeah,
When you get to actually
bring stuff in from your childhood. It's,
Right.
Yeah, it's how a lot of these like big remixes. I'm sure like the disco lines, the No Broke Boys, that one probably came from a song from his childhood.
yeah.
'Cause-
Do you see as a producer, is there more? Is it better to remix tracks and make edits rather than focusing on making your own?
Yeah,
What
I
have
mean-
you noticed?
I noticed
putting
in
your
the-
energy into things.
I'd say so if you look at like the hits from the past 5 years, right? You had like Do It To It, right? That's like a remix.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I'm trying to think of some other almost all the big dance music records, they were flips. Like what was it? Ride It by
Yep.
Regard.
Regard. Man.
Eamon Beck Roses. I mean, that's going back a little bit further.
Regard went viral for
Yeah,
that.
but these are all remixes
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and those are the only ones. Those are the ones that have translated to like the mainstream.
Yeah.
So I guess as a DJ, you should be at least like once a month putting out a remix or edit.
Something, yeah.
Because of course you want to try and build in the dance music world, but if you're ever gonna get to that next level, it's probably gonna be with like what Disco Lines just did with Tinashe.
Yeah.
Right, it was Tinashe. Yeah, the No Broke Boys. No. Yeah.
It's Tinashe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, remix, and now it's like the biggest track. You have, of course, you got like John Summit, who released an original, and that translates, but that's much more rare than like the remix stuff popping up into the mainstream.
It's a good way to launch your name.
Yeah.
In the scene.
Yeah, because it's usable for DJs too. Like at the end of the day, a DJ is much more likely to play your song if it's a remix because
but will that
that'll
translate
fit.
to the booker? They don't really know.
Well, again, the booker's probably looking at. I mean, you're a booker, right? So, what do you look at when you're booking acts for? Because do you want to? You can plug it or.
Yeah. Well, I do some programming for some nightclubs, and what do I look for is people like you and Crespo that could actually read a room, because I think on this level everyone can play certain songs, but to be able to read a room and to pivot is a whole art in itself that is kind of lost.
Yeah, to switch it up and stuff if you feel like it's not working.
Right, and there's only a few people that kind of fit that. Well, not a few people, but a few DJs in our current conglomerate that are good at that. And when I say a few, there's like less than 100.
Yeah.
So we're all pretty fortunate. Like I was saying, Beat Breaker is a great DJ.
Yeah.
You, Crespo, there's just a lot of guys out there that know how to read a room.
Yeah, everyone's a great DJ when everything's going well, but it's when shit's not going well that's when you really see the great DJs.
Right.
That switch it up,
Right.
observe that the crowd's not moving as much, and then they figure out the right spot.
Can you get into other genres? Can you play country music? Can you play rock music?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to download a song and manage? People don't understand. Like sometimes you got to download things for certain bottle buyers, and at the same time you're still mixing this song, and then you have a bunch of people dancing around you. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah, I will say, I did bring my laptop to a set recently. I didn't play off it.
Okay.
But thank God I did, because I had this. So the club owner came up. He's like, "Yo, this guy spent like $60K in the past 2 days. We want to make sure he's happy." And then the guy's like, "Hey man, I just want to hear this song."
What did they want? Like Top Gun?
It was
or something crazy.
I mean, it was sad that I didn't have it on there already, but it was "We're going to hide, let's go, right?" So I downloaded it. Right, he tipped me a couple $100, which is awesome.
Wow.
And then he proceeds to ask me to play it 3 more times. So that was
How did you handle that situation?
I asked the owner. I was like, "Yo, do you want this? Like, I'll do it if
Did you break it up?
Did you do it I didn't go back to back to back.
The Dead Mouse thing?
But
did you hear about it with the Britney Spears?
Yeah.
They kept bothering him for New Year's Eve.
No.
So they went up to the booth and I could be like, the entire details is kind of like hit or miss, but the lore of the story is he got requested like 9 or 10 times to play Britney Spears, Give Me More.
Oh my God.
And and they tipped him like, this is the lore too, I don't know, like $100,000 or something. This is New Year's Eve. So he finally took the money, but supposedly he played the song back to back. After he played it all out, Give Me More, and then he'd stop and just play it right into it again. And knowing how Dead Mouse is, Joel, I could see him doing something like that, man. I thought back to back 9 times in a row.
That's brutal. Yeah. I mean, I did it 4 times throughout the night, but I switched it up. And I asked the owner, because I'm not going to do that shit unless they really want me to do it.
Right.
And he tipped me $200 every time, so it's like I walked away.
Wow.
Like, it was nice. It was a nice
That's a
night.
lost art. So for anybody that's into this and a big customer, or if you have a customer watching this amazing podcast, please take care of the DJs.
Yeah.
We're the least ones that ever get taken care of.
Yeah, I know. Like getting tipped out and stuff like that.
It's very rare.
There's certain venues that I notice I get more tips at and shit. I'm like, it's nice.
Well, 11's amazing.
Yeah.
11, the host and the owners are amazing. They encourage the VIPs to take care of the DJs.
You're playing there on Sunday, right? Yeah. That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. It's always a great time. And like I said, South Florida DJs are amazing. Zeus and Mr. Gray. They're always very loving and very hospitable. But the things I pick up from you guys too, it's cool because I get to learn things and certain songs that work in certain markets, and I can take it to Vegas and
and see if it translates. So do you think Vegas is kind of like the leader of the music market, or is Vegas? So I noticed when I played in Asia that the music that they were liking over there was definitely behind like where Miami was. Yeah. So where do you think Vegas falls in the scheme of like music relevancy, like the crowds?
Vegas is definitely top 5. I also think that like the DJs and the artists that are there are all really great. Mm-hmm. but at the same time, you can't be too progressive because Vegas is still a big tourist town.
Yeah, bachelorette parties.
We have people coming in from Missouri that want to hear Nelly, Hot in Here, so you got to be able to play those like relevant DMX party up songs so you don't lose the crowd. And you got to realize that, we can't get too deep into the
they won't
artistry
know
and play
like a track
songs.
that came out last week
People want to come
necessarily.
and listen to songs that they know and they like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Vegas crowd. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
I noticed when I put like the Hard Rock here, it's kind of like that vibe too.
Right? Okay.
For some of it, you gotta play a little bit more mainstream for the crowd to
And
really
you gotta,
get into it.
people are paying good money. They want to listen to
Have an
songs
experience
that they know.
Yeah.
So
but
a
fit
lot-
it into your set the right way. Yeah.
A lot of those reoccurring tracks are like still our top go-to tracks in
Yeah.
Vegas.
It was a while. I saw Chainsmokers maybe 4 or 5 years ago in Vegas, maybe 6 actually.
Okay.
And it was such an open format set. It was crazy. They
Yeah,
played barely any like dance music. It was almost all open format.
Yeah, I think when you get to that level, you just play whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. Respectfully, and the guys are cool. I've had a few times where I've gotten the honor to open and close for them when I was at the Win. But if you and I are getting booked as a duo and we're there every weekend, we're gonna want to switch it up.
Yeah.
And
Get sick of the same
these dudes
thing.
are good looking.
Yeah.
The girls are just there to see them. Pause, no homo. But I'm just saying, like, so they're gonna want to play some different music.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause
It was
we're-
crazy though. I was like, shit. They were like dropping like
play-
AC/DC, like straight out. I was like,
AC/DC,
fuck.
trap music,
Yeah.
like this
It was
ain't
a great
this ain't a
set.
slander show. Or
Yeah.
they'll go right into like hip hop. It's just like,
But it was cool to see that, and that also kind of opened my eyes a little bit to like playing more like that's the Chainsmokers, like one of the biggest dance music acts playing open format, and I'm like, okay, so if they're doing it, like, there's no reason that I, as a Miami DJ, shouldn't be doing that shit too sometimes. And
That's true.
just
What have
breathe
you
around.
have you when you played in Vegas? What did you notice the biggest difference between here? and
I wasn't playing that week. I only played in Vegas. I've only played three times. I played at Marquee with Dioro.
Were you nervous?
Oh yeah, he let me go back to back with him.
Oh,
And he brought me up. And
that guy is amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit. Like, I
He's
had
kind
no
of like
idea what was
you,
going to
like
happen.
just very talented at producing.
Oh yeah, Dior's the best.
But then he translated into DJing. But also he has a whole, group of like Latinos that support
they
him.
die hard.
Yeah, and he's a very he fits in a very small niche of like dance DJ culture.
Yeah, and he was early.
Phenomenal.
I mean, if you really think about like Latin tech and shit, like Dior was doing that shit like
Yeah, his
10
name
years
was
ago.
Tonic before,
Yeah, but he
know?
was massive in like the Latin
And he was
community.
great.
And crushed it. I've probably played it 3 or 4 times with him, like opening support.
And if he does a show, it's gonna sell out.
Yeah. I played with him at Dare not that long ago too, and he was great crowd. But anyways, he brought me up for a back to back, and so that was wild because I was probably like, this is like maybe 6 or
So
7
did he
years
just
ago.
play Latin songs and you'd play?
Yeah,
tech
it
songs?
was just I have a video of it somewhere, but no, I was just playing fucking whatever I thought the room would like. That was on my stick, But he was it was bangers. He was like fucking hardcore.
He's amazing.
So that was at Marquee, and then I played. I think this is before the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock is the Hard Rock still there?
The Hard Rock is no longer there.
Okay, so it was like right before it shut. I played
is
the pool
now-
party there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rehab.
Yeah, Rehab. Yeah,
That's good.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. The Hard Rock is now the Virgin Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did EDC Vegas a few times too, which was
How
dope.
did that feel?
It was cool. It was art car sets, so
those are still
a
amazing.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like I played a sunrise set on one of the art cars, and it was like maybe 50, 60 people, but it was such a vibe because the
Such an
sun was
honor.
coming up, and I was on like it was like a pirate ship, I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
awesome.
And I was like, this shit's wild,
That's
know.
awesome.
And so that was a fun one too. But I
The
gotta
fact that
come
you
back
did
to
EDC
Vegas.
is great.
I know,
You gotta
man.
definitely come back.
Yeah, the Insomniac crew, I love those guys.
They're
too.
amazing. They're so good to me as well.
Yeah, I just signed my. I don't know if I signed a publishing deal with them
great.
for some stuff too. So I'm excited.
Well, don't
about
forget
that.
about us.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it right now.
It's just sync stuff, which is awesome.
I'm your
Sync.
opener for all of
there
your
you
shows.
go.
I called it.
Yeah,
For all your big shows.
Yeah, Insomniac runs shit. In case you don't know, they're fucking running shit.
The thing with them is they get it because they live it.
Yeah.
They're not just a bunch of just corporate people. They actually go out. They love dance music. They know culture.
Yeah, they're very
that's-
ear to the ground.
Right. That's what makes them advantageous to this. You know what I mean? They're really living this.
Yeah.
And, Pascal's amazing dude.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. You all like I played EDC Orlando maybe 2 years ago.
Never been.
And it was
Is it
fun.
different from Vegas?
Vegas is better for sure.
Okay.
Sorry, but Vegas definitely superior as far as like the vibes.
Okay. Is it massive? The same? Like, is it as big as?
It's probably. I'd have to look it up. I want to say it's half the size of Vegas because Vegas is in the NASCAR stadium and EDC Orlando I think is in like the it's like a football stadium.
Okay.
But it's not inside the stadium. It's like around it.
Okay.
Anyways, I saw Pasquale walking around, and it was like Sunday night, and I was like, that's crazy. Like he's just always there. Which is great, but you don't see that
Always
many
there,
CEOs
very
like
humble.
always on ear to the ground, like doing
Yeah,
the
very
shit.
humble. He was there with Mike Tyson one night, and we were in his section.
Yeah.
And
you're staying at one of the Vegas
in
clubs.
Vegas, yeah, at EDC.
Okay.
So we were at EDC, we were in his section, and he was there with Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's wife, and he had a seat there with him and I believe the girl he was dating at that time. And then my girlfriend at that time was with me, and he like gave up his seat for my girlfriend.
That's crazy.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's just every interaction I've had with him, he's just an amazing guy.
Yeah. I haven't actually met him personally, but I've heard.
Super humble, super cool guy.
Awesome, man. So I know we got to wrap up in a sec, but anything you got coming up that you want to tell people about or where they can follow you at?
Yeah, still big on Instagram, doing that. Definitely need to work on my TikTok more. And then at the same time, catch me in Vegas, catch me on tour with John. Releasing music pretty much every month on Spotify and all the platforms.
Love it.
And I really appreciate and very thankful for everybody that supports me. And I appreciate this opportunity.
Awesome, man. Well, keep crushing it. And
Thank you.
See you next time.
Yep.